Hi guys, happy Saturday. It's probably still 99 degrees out, but maybe not this early in the morning. But all right, let's get right to it. So I'm gonna share my screen because I want to show you something. If you don't know what Google Bard is yet, if you've heard of Chat GPT, this is the Google version of Chat GPT or GTP or whatever you want to call it. So what I want to talk about today is a real life example of what I think is culture. But we get asked all the time. I mean, Danbury always says, and we always say, what's so special about Danbury? It's the culture. So let's find out what is culture. I want to see what Google Bard says culture is. So culture is a complex system of shared beliefs, values, behaviors that are learned and transmitted from one generation to the next. It is a product of human interaction and constantly evolving. Culture is not limited. Culture is important because it provides us with a sense of identity and belonging. It helps us to understand the world around us. So, you know, I think it's kind of hard to put an exact science into culture is exactly this, or here's the two sentences that is Danbury's culture. So I always say, and everyone always gets mad at me, but the easiest way is to tell your story. So I have a story for you that actually doesn't involve me in any way, shape, or form. I am going to use some names in the story that are real, but this actually happened last week. Last week was a tough week for corporate. It was very busy going into the holiday weekend. It was nuts. So here's what happened. So our own Morgan out of the design house, who catches pictures, does flyers, things like that for capture, she was working on a brochure with an agent. And this started on about a Tuesday. And it was a bigger listing. And I believe the listing was going to go live that Friday. Yeah. So Tuesday, the agent let her know, hey, I'd like to do a 4-page brochure kind of a thing. Let's start designing it. So they go back and forth designing it. Um, I think there were maybe a couple drafts in. Now remember, this is my version of the story. So there might be a little details might get a little messy. But anyways, so Tuesday they start designing it, go back and forth for the next 2 days. Thursday morning at 9, Morgan is just waiting for the final approval in the morning. They're hoping to print it Thursday, deliver it Thursday through courier so that the agent has it for Friday. Well, from what I can tell, agent probably got a little busy and just never actually confirmed that that was the final print they wanted. So at around 4:30 in the afternoon, everyone typically leaves at 5 in corporate. We got the email back confirming the brochure. So Morgan at first says, sorry, I don't think we can get this done today and get to you. Curry's already went. The Dennis, the print guy, is going to be gone already. So I don't think we can do it. Well, agent was able to get a hold of Katie Schrader. Katie Schrader's like, well, let's try and make it happen. Katie called Morgan, Morgan called Dennis, and the whole team went around, got them printed. So Thursday night, they got them delivered, and I believe by 6 o'clock, if I remember right. So that's a win, but the story's not over. So the next day, we get a call from the agent that the client does not like the brochure because the way one of the pictures lays out, it goes from one fold to the other. And the client of this higher end listing does not like it. So Friday happened to be the Friday before the weekend. Kate Schrader had an off day. Her kids were graduating from their class. She was out the whole day. So this agent was able to go hold of Maria. What's interesting is when the agent called Maria, Maria was actually in the dentist chair. She had a dentist appointment. So she responded on her Apple Watch, at the dentist, we'll call you when I get out. So Maria gets back to the office, call it around 11 or 12, talks to the agent, hears that, hey, client doesn't like the brochure. The listing is going live today. We really need to get this figured out. I need it today. So Maria reaches out to Morgan to get the original file, to change the file, gets everything all changed around. Then Morgan texts Dennis, hey, these prints are ready to be printed. There was another issue that Dennis, the print guy, was working with. So Maria and Dennis actually crossed paths, and Maria kind of mentions, hey, good thing you're going to Perrysburg to drop off this agent's stuff. You can drop off this thing too. Dennis, the print guy, goes, yeah, sounds good to me. Well, what happened was, because we were in a rush, the normal process of Morgan sending it through the normal scenario never made it to Dennis. It did, but in a different fashion. So at around 4:30, Maria gets a text from Natalie, of all people, that the Perrysburg admins were waiting for someone to drop off these brochures for this agent, and nobody had showed up yet. So they were curious because it was Natalie's dad, Dennis, that's who works for us. The print guy is Natalie's dad, was supposed to be dropping them off, but Natalie's dad wasn't there yet. So Natalie was following with Maria. Maria goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I assume they got delivered. She gets a hold of Dennis. Dennis is like, no, I never got them. I didn't print them. It's now 5 o'clock on Friday before the holiday. Maria had left a little early because her family was in town. She was actually at an ice cream place having ice cream when she got the call that this never got done for the agent. So Maria has options in this moment: is call the agent, let them know, hey, sorry, it fell through the cracks. Hopefully it won't happen next time. I don't know, what other options does she have? Well, Maria, in true Danbury fashion, left the ice cream place, went back to the office, got back to the office around 5:45, and was upset because we always turn the AC down when we leave. So it's super hot in the office. She redoes the file again to make sure it's good. She goes down to print it in our print shop herself. She's able to print it off, and the colors aren't right. And she messes with it and can't get the colors right. So she calls Dennis, the print guy, and says, Dennis, I can't get these colors to match up right. It's not working. What's going on? So they're back and forth on the phone. Mind you, it's 6:15 now. She's trying to get these printed. They can't figure out the phone. So now Dennis, who lives in Perrysburg, says, I'll be there in 20 minutes. So Dennis drives back up to the office. It's now 6:30, 6:45 at night. They figure out the colors, get it to print right. It's perfect. Dennis then leaves there and delivers the brochures down to the agent at 7:30 at night on Friday night to make sure the agent had the brochures for the weekend. So you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Maria went above and beyond, Dennis went above and beyond, the whole team went above and beyond. That's so cool that they did that. There's some of you that are probably like, why would she do that? The agent probably would have never asked her to do that. All of those things are right. But Maria chose in the moment that that's what was important for that agent. She knew the agent was depending on it. She made a way, or found a way, to make it work, which is great. I applaud her. But that's not what I'm proud of. That's actually not the Danbury culture piece that has me telling you the story. The really part of the story is Maria comes into my office on Monday and tells me all these things that went down that I wasn't even aware of. And says, but that's not really what I want to talk to you about. I'm like, well, you just told me everything. What do you want to talk about? She goes, I want to tell you how I think we failed and how we can do it right next time. And then broke down step by step how that issue should never happen, how it won't happen again, the small changes that they've already made to where hopefully that isn't an issue like that ever again, and what to happen if it is an issue again, and then have a group discussion, make sure that they understand why it happened, how it happened, and it won't happen again. We always talk about it as leaders. I know I admit to failing all the time. We try new things out. We're trying to learn from our mistakes. Saying that is one thing, but I think our culture is, you know what? We're going to try new things. We're going to work really hard. We're going to go above and beyond for our clients, for our family, for each other. We're going to go above and beyond. We all do that. But then it's making sure that we're not going to keep making the same issue over and over and over again, the same mistake over and over and over again. We're going to learn from our mistakes. We're going to learn from our failures, and we're going to get better because of them. And that's what I think was the most beautiful part of this story, was her, instead of saying, you know what, it was a sucky Friday, we got done, it was a success, we got to the agent. Success to her was spending the weekend evaluating in her head and coming back and telling me how it's not going to happen again and how we're going to be better. We are a small company. We're a big company, but we're small. We're growing nonstop. Capture's growing, Design House is growing, Agent Services is growing. Our admins are doing more every day for the agents. Our agents are doing more for the clients every day. We're going to screw up. We're going to screw up a lot. And the only value in those screw ups is if we learn from them. So as far as trying to tie this back into culture, culture is the act of going above and beyond. It's part of these things that we're doing every day. but it's also making sure that you're not going insane by doing the same wrong things over and over and over again, and learning from them and doing better all the time. So I encourage you to think about, when was the last time you screwed up? You know, you forgot to call somebody back, you wrote something wrong in an offer, you negotiated the wrong way. Did you actually learn from it? Make sure you didn't make the same mistake again? Or are you still making the same mistake over and over and over again? Find an accountability buddy. We've talked about that before. Call yourself out, learn from your mistakes. We have a great culture. We're going to work together. We're going to fail together, and we're going to grow together. So love you guys. Maria, shout out. The whole design team, shout out. Dennis, shout out. We have an amazing culture, but we have an amazing team, and it's all the people that make it what it is. So love you guys. Have a good Saturday. See ya.